This episode is brought to you by Netflix. Everyone is telling her she dreamt it, but in The Woman in Cabin 10, Lo Blacklock is determined to uncover the truth. In the gripping new thriller coming to Netflix October 10th, Keira Knightley plays a journalist aboard a luxury yacht who witnesses a crime she can't unsee. Adapted from Ruth Ware's best-selling novel, directed by Simon Stone. Watch The Woman in Cabin 10 now, only on Netflix.
So we're with Laura, and we have two people from Vacaville, our senior and junior, who have been on the podcast before. And we're going to talk a little bit about the documentary kind of controversy surrounding that documentary on Netflix called The Unknown Caller, The Catfish.
Yeah.
You know, and sounds pretty crazy. So tell me what you gave to senior and junior. You like played the audio for them?
Yeah, I played the audio for them. And 2 minutes in, Junior, you were like, it's one of the moms. And Omega, he might be calling in. Same thing. 2 minutes in, they were like, it's one of the moms.
Wow. What made you guys, Junior, tell us what made you think it was the mom?
Something, I don't know. I was just picking up on the tone, the conversation, the storyline. And I don't know if it was 2 minutes in, but it was within 3 to 5 minutes. Laura had asked me, who do you think it was? And I was saying it's one of the moms. It's one of the moms. And it just started getting more obvious to me that one of the moms. My second thought was that it could potentially be one of the mom's rivals. Like, for say, let's say the mom was in high school and had another female rival in her days in high school, right? Now that they're adults, maybe that girl that didn't like Lauren's mom was now targeting her daughter.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Because she didn't fully care enough in school or something, so now she was targeting the mom. But I suspected it was one of the moms. I just couldn't pin it down right away which mom it was, but it was getting more and more obvious to me as the show was going on.
Laura, I thought it was a friend or another girl in the high school. I didn't think it was a mom. Laura, what did you think?
Well, you know, the whole show kind of got ruined for me because my parents had watched it.
Oh.
And
Spoiled you? They spoilers?
Did spoiler?
Spoiler. So I had known what was going to happen, but they had both told me, they're like, you got to watch it. And same with like other members, my aunts and uncle and family.
Your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
We're like, even though you know what's going to happen, you got to watch it. So I did go in knowing who it was. And I was like, it was kind of actually creepy watching it from the aspect of knowing who it was, because you hear Kendra, the mom, saying in the beginning, I don't think the school did enough to like to find who's doing this to my daughter. So it was like a different way of watching it. And if you guys watched it now, you'd probably feel the same way. It was almost creepier watching it knowing.
Right. And that's why, like, when I sat down to watch it, I was freaked out because the first time I sat down to watch it, I thought it was a friend. And I only watched like 15 minutes, 20 minutes. And then after I knew who it was, I sat down to watch it again and I was like, I can't watch this.
Yeah.
Right.
Unfortunately,
I mean, when you know who it is, it's
really hard to watch it because you're like, how does that happen?
Right.
Like, how does that, like, from a forensic criminologist standpoint, what do you think that's about?
Oh God, there's so much. There's
so much to unpack, right?
Oh my God, there's so much to unwrap. Well, I don't even know where to start with.
It's almost like a Munchausen syndrome, but like on a stalking way.
Okay. Well, let's start with Kendra. I would definitely say she is a malignant narcissist.
Mm-hmm.
And I know
can you just describe malignant narcissist? Because everybody uses that word narcissist and everybody throws it around like it, you know, it's a thing to say these days. But I don't think people understand the difference between like a malignant narcissist and just a narcissist.
Okay, so there's a lot of people actually mix up psychopathy with narcissist. And you know, when anybody goes, oh, it's a narcissistic sociopath, I always laugh because I'm like, okay, it's like saying, Cindy, you're beautiful, or Cindy, you're beautiful and beautiful. narcissist is already measured within psychopathy, so you don't need to say narcissistic sociopath. Narcissist is already measured within psychopathy.
Right.
But a narcissist is a separate thing on its own. It's its own, personality disorder. So there's different types. There's 4 different types. A malignant narcissist is kind of like the worst, and especially when it comes to mothers, this is where it really gets. How would I describe it? The worst of the worst, because they look at narcissists in general, look at children as an extension of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They're not their own being. So the child is an extension of themselves. And then a malignant narcissist is, well, actually, all 4 types will look at the child as an extension of themselves. And any childhood trauma that they've experienced, their child has to experience as well. Like their child can't have a better childhood than they did. So even if their child is having good childhood, they're going to throw something in there to make it traumatic, because they cannot have a childhood better than theirs.
Right.
And that's kind of what I noticed when I was watching her is like, it was like she made this whole entire, I don't even know what you would call it, but this circumstance where Lauren and her boyfriend had to go through this, trauma, 2 years of trauma.
It's so scary.
Yeah.
I've been stalked. You've been stalked. It's terrifying. Like, these poor kids. Can you imagine what they were going through?
On at like 12 and 13. I mean, that's incredible.
Oh.
I mean, it's insane. Every day, and they were getting 40 messages.
So, Junior, what gave you the impression that it was one of the moms? I think that's an interesting perspective from just watching it for a few minutes.
Well, yeah, just listening to it.
I mean, just listening to it. Yeah. I mean, what was your gut feeling on that? Like, what tipped you off to that?
I don't know, it's just a gut instinct. I told Laura, like right away, I was saying it's the mom. And she goes, who do you think it is? And I said, it's one of the moms. And then she asked Omega, who do you think it is? And he said, I think it's one of the moms. And I told Laura later after we were listening to it, I said, I probably would have been able to pick out who was the culprit of this even quicker if I saw the actual videos and pictures of the players.
Yeah.
Because I was just going on tones and sounds of voice and the concept of the story, but something was sticking out to me like right away. Mom's involved, or mom's rival was involved. And, it's interesting that you and Laura were just talking about the mom's role in this for 2 years. And, these kids just got their phones. They were excited to get phones so that they could speak about their relationship together and be more connected. And I thought to myself, you know what? If I was a parent and my kid just got a phone, I might play a trick on them. And I don't think it would be a trick. It would be a test. I want to see what my kid's going to do now that they got this freedom and they're open the wide world. I want to see how they'll react. I can see a parent doing a certain little something. But to go on for 2 years or a month, that's freaking crazy. That's torture to a kid in the house watching your own daughter or your own son go through this. Is like, I've been around a lot of stuff, and I've been abused by my parents in certain ways, and I can never fathom a parent going to this length that this mom went to. That's like the most disgusting thing that I can think of.
Mm-hmm.
So, Laura, what do you think was going through the mom's mind to do something? Like, what would you even come up with something like this? Like, what was she getting out of this to do something like this?
I was just going to say there's probably, she starts to do it right and she gets responses, and that's probably the dopamine kick right there.
I was going to say the dopamine rush.
Dopamine rush. So she's getting that thrill, that rush, the dopamine rush.
And your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
I mean, that's the first step, and that's where the correlation is going to form. But not only that, you got to remember she is a malignant narcissist too. So now everybody in town, and remember, she's an outsider from the town. Okay. It's a small town, an outsider. Now this is happening to her daughter and her daughter's boyfriend. So the talk of the town, because, small town, is now all these people are showering her with the attention that a narcissist wants,
Or like Munchausen syndrome is similar.
It's almost like that same kind of thought process. You want to basically create this fantasy to control your child.
Right. Well, that's what it is. It's control. It's the attention from, oh, poor me, I'm the mother of this child going through it. Everybody's with attention. Then you're getting the thrill, the dopamine rush on top of it. So there's many different aspects at play happening.
It's no different than an arsonist who goes back and watches the building
Yeah.
burn down.
Yeah, that's a good analogy. Yeah.
And then and calls the fire department or
Right.
saves somebody out of there just to be the hero. Or they've also had firefighters who became arsonists.
60 seconds
Exactly.
remaining.
It's typically with police officers, firefighters, it's the hero syndrome where they might shoot somebody, start a fire, and they come and they save them. That's the hero syndrome.
So this woman's getting all the attention from the town. Everybody's like, "You poor thing. Oh my God, this is so scary. What you're going through." Blah blah blah.
Right.
And meanwhile, she's doing it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So she's getting the dopamine kick, the thrill out of it, and then showered with attention on top of it. So this is why I'm saying there's multiple aspects at play happening.
Is there a split personality? Like, how is she dealing with that? Like,
No, this is all one personality where she's just getting the high, the kick of like getting away with it, being able to do this. And there is also a whole nother aspect to this where there's a sexual component to this we'll get into.
well,
It's all like,
okay, wait.
yeah.
But technically, it's all connected. If you look at every single thing, it's all connected. It's all stimulating. It's all giving that dopamine kick. It's all that thrill. It's all that rush, plus the shower of attention.
Which is what the narcissist wants. They want your attention, no matter what. Whether it's good attention, bad attention, they'll do whatever they can to get your attention. And when you ignore them, they go completely crazy.
Correct.
And that, and the attention feeds the sexual desire thing.
True. Yep.
Makes them feel desirable because it's just,
And you got to remember too, probably from this documentary, even though she's getting negative responses or whatever, I bet you so much money she is on there watching everything, listening to everything, and getting a kick out of it, thrill out of it.
yeah.
It's almost
like when a serial killer, is kind of watching their victims' family or whatever,
watching the news reports.
or watching the news reports like BTK used to do, or whatever. It feels that kind of same
void or
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it says that she was sentenced to 19 months to 5 years in prison.
That's it?
But she was paroled in 2024.
Yeah, she got out in like 18 months or something.
Yeah.
So she didn't spend any time in prison for this?
It's a non-violent crime. So
child abuse.
Depending upon what, I don't know what's.
The thing is, it is child abuse. She didn't get charged with the sexual crime, which any man going after a 13-year-old girl would have gotten charged with.
Yeah, I think if it was a man, it would have been worse.
Way worse. And Owen's mom said that at the end. She was like, had this been a man, she was going after my son, which as a mother of a son, yeah,
So-
I feel the same way.
Fill me in on this part. So was she trying to get the boyfriend?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. See, that's the part I didn't know.
Oh, yeah. And let me go into that a little bit more because there was a lot left out on the doc. I read from an article afterwards.
So when the narcissist has children and the narcissist can't handle the fact that the child is beautiful or the child is successful or the child is popular and has things that she didn't have.
Yeah.
So then she just wants to take everything away from that child.
Well, here, I'm just reading a little bit of the People magazine, and they said they were considered the golden couple, those two, like going into high school. Together since junior high, they entered high school closer than ever. Then out of nowhere, the group text was sent to both Lucari and McKenney from an unknown number claiming he was cheating on her. They found it odd, but dismissed it. A year later, texts returned at an alarming rate, up to 40 to 50 a day.
Oh, my God.
And if you see the mother versus the daughter's much more attractive.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure, especially her daughter's coming of age, she has this boyfriend, she's an athlete, like they're the golden couple, whatever. That's going to trigger a narcissistic mother, especially a narcissist mother, hardcore.
That's what I was going to ask you. So what are the signs of that? Because I kind of know someone like that who's getting triggered by her daughter being beautiful and doing things that she never did and could never do. And now she's acting out and, alcohol, drugs, all kinds of things are coming out right now because of that. So like, how does that trigger the narcissist to see their child? Don't you want your child to do well?
You do. Normal parents do, but the narcissist does not. They want that child under their control at all times. And they're going to do whatever they can to lower their child or sabotage their child.
Yeah. We were just talking about this.
Yep. Yeah.
Yep.
You also have to think about the competitiveness.
Competitiveness. Yep.
and that college or high school thing comes out where they want to be prettier or more popular, and when they see their daughters getting this attention, they start wanting to outshine, and they do things to outshine their daughter or try and control their daughter to protect their daughter so that they can start to outshine them in another way.
Yeah.
It's a crazy thing. And you know, you were talking about the sexual aspect of this, about if it was a guy. And I had a very interesting conversation with Laura after this. And I pointed out to Laura, can you imagine sexually abusing your own child? Even though this was not an actual physical abuse of sexual abuse, it was a mental sexual abuse of her mom putting her daughter or even Owen through these sexual innuendos. What kind of sexual desires or triggers are Lauren and Owen going to have now for the rest of their life? Talking about flat butts or anal stuff or whatever the mom was saying.
But not even like, yeah, we had that exact conversation, which is horrific. But also, you're talking to 12, 13-year-old kids who are not typically doing this type of stuff. So now you're pressuring them into sexual acts at a young, very young, impressionable age.
So that's what she was doing. She was sending them texts, sexual texts.
Yeah, because she was like, he's doing BJs and finger, like it was graphic, very graphic stuff. Yeah, it wasn't PG. Even like one of the detectives who was like in his 50s was like, this makes me blush. Yeah.
Did she have a dad?
One of the things was
Dad, yeah, and the poor dad had no idea.
Had no idea.
No idea. He got found. Like you see his whole reaction on body cam on the show.
There you go.
Yeah.
That poor man. That's horrible.
And, you know, I just want to say something because I saw a lot of people giving him grief on social media. And they said, because, you know, he was told to come home on the phone. Something was going down. The cops were at the house and they were telling Lauren. They didn't even really tell her. They just said, you know, your mom got wrapped up in some stuff. And Lauren's crying and her mom's like hugging her. And everyone gave her like grief because, you know, her mom's hugging her. But the police officer is very vague about what's happening. And then the father, Sean, gets home and they go out and tell him, they go, you know, your wife has not been working for 2 years. Now, supposedly she's been working at this university for 2 years or whatever. And they've lost 3 homes now at this point. And he's like, what are you talking about? Like, this is our financial trouble. Like, we've lost all these homes. She hasn't been working. So the lies go very, very deep. And this poor guy hears that. And then they tell him, you know, she was stalking. She's behind these 2 years of stalking Lauren and Owen. And he goes in and he says to her, like, you got to get out right now. And he's like on the verge of tears. And a lot of people on social media are giving him grief because they're like, why would you be more upset about her losing the job? And you got to understand when somebody's told some really heavy, and I mean heavy information like that, your brain is going to pick out the easiest to process, which is going the fact that she hasn't been working for all these years.
Well, he can't process the fact that his wife has been stalking their child.
Exactly.
And it's something you can't even make up. It's so crazy.
You can't even like fathom it.
Well, here, part of me calls bullshit a little bit because how do you not know your wife hasn't been working for 2 years?
Well, they go into this a little bit, and she handled all the finances, and she was like she was doing tech at some university, and when they lost the house, she kept telling people that they got hacked or their socials were stolen. Like there was always
financial crimes.
There was always some financial crimes. So she just kept going. Like it was always a different financial crime. And for a couple of years, I guess you would buy it. I mean, you're married. You have like a 14, 13-year-old at this point. I mean, why would you question it? You would be like, oh, I just trust my husband or my wife. We've been all these times. So, you know, I believe that is a real story. He was just trusting her with the finances.
Yeah.
You know, we just keep getting hacked and stolen our identities, whatever. Yeah. And I mean, remember, narcissists and sociopaths, they are good. They are so
this
good.
Call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
At spinning tails.
So, Laura,
Yeah.
you want me to drop my bombshell?
Yeah, we've talked about it. Go ahead.
So when me and Laura were talking about this stuff, after we listened to it, we were on the phone that night. And the next day, we were talking. And I told Laura, I said, "Have you ever thought about this?" And I started to point something out to her, and I think I even shocked Laura. But the mom and the husband were having problems, like Laura said, financially, and with the houses being lost, and all this stuff. The mom was provoking the daughter to kill herself. And I told her, "Have you ever thought about why the mom was trying to provoke the daughter? I mean, you're living in this house. If that was my daughter or my son, and someone was promoting my daughter or my son to kill themselves, I would have my daughter or son sleeping with their door open, in the bedroom, or me very closely to make sure that there's no way my child can kill themselves."
Right.
And with the mom just sleeping casually next to her husband, probably having sex or doing whatever the parents do in their rooms, why is the mom trying to promote the daughter to kill herself and saying, "If you don't do it, I'll do it to you"? And I started thinking to myself, what would be the mom's reasoning with all this stuff going on? And I thought to myself, I wonder if the mom has life insurance on the daughter.
This call and your telephone and recorded.
So what's funny is I've gone down the rabbit hole.
The mom can collect the life insurance and maybe even leave the husband, and he wouldn't even know that she collected life insurance, and she'd be a rich single mom.
And that would feed the Munchausen, the narcissism. And what's funny is I've gone down the rabbit hole of this whole case, and nobody has proposed what he's saying. And tell them when you told the CEOs of Vacaville who had watched the doc, this theory.
So, the CEOs listen to our phone calls and listen to our conversations, or they approve our text messages or certain videos. And Laura sent me a couple things. And I think it was 3 days later, I was leaving my wing, and the CEOs were talking about something to do with this case. And I caught onto it very quickly. I go, "Oh, are you talking about the unknown caller?" They said, "Yeah." And I said, "Have you ever thought about this?" And I proposed the same question that I just put out there as the bombshell of, does the mom possibly have life insurance on the daughter? Has anyone thought about the mom trying to get the daughter to kill herself to collect the money and leave the husband? And when I told this to the CEOs, their jaws dropped. They said, "Holy shit, we never thought about that." And it just baffled them because no one thought about.
Let Senior talk. What does Senior want to say?
Yeah, go ahead, Senior.
Hey, Mark, the only problem I have with that theory about the mom having a life insurance policy out on the daughter is police were investigating. And they would come across the fact that there was a life insurance policy out on the girl.
But here's the thing about this, Senior. I don't know if they would look that, because I mean, to get a subpoena.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
To be able to look that deeply into someone's finance, I mean, that
they would. And also, you can't really get life insurance for suicide.
2 years.
You can.
2 years.
There's 2 years.
I don't think that's necessarily true. I think if it's suicide, you might not be able to get insurance, but if it's a provoked suicide, like what was going on, there might be different policies for something of that nature.
Of a
bully. Like Will was saying, I don't think the cops would have ever thought about this or never looked into it because it didn't result in a death. But if it did result in a death, then they would have investigated, like, why was this targeted as a death promoted to be a suicide? Then they might have found life insurance. But since it didn't get that far, I don't think the cops would have thought about that stuff. They were just trying to find out who the stalker was, and their focus wasn't a wider thing of other options, other scenarios, like I presented the life insurance.
Well, there is a 2-year clause where they will pay out after 2 years.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly the insurance policies for your children are usually set up as a full life policy, which is basically an investment for future financial security, creates a nest egg. I don't see anything here where they can get it for a kid but
maybe she didn't know that. I mean, it's an interesting theory, Junior.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you have to wonder, what was her motive, right? Because if she's lost 3 houses, she didn't have a job, she was lying about having a job. I don't know how you pull that off. I don't know how you pretend you're making money to your spouse when you're not.
Well, if you're controlling the bills,
I mean, but
just say,
still, I mean, how do you not know that? And then if she was desperate for money, who knows? Maybe that was the root of all of this.
You got to wonder. I mean, look at Munchausen, because I think Munchausen is an aspect into this, and children of Munchausen die. I mean, really,
They do all the time.
right?
The mom, I don't necessarily think the mom plotted out to collect life insurance off the bat. I think that they might have had life insurance, or she might have figured it out sooner or later. But I think the mom was just like,
You have 60 seconds remaining.
even though it was negative attention, and the mom probably saw sooner or later her marriage going down the drain because of this, and the financial problems. And I could see her pulling out a life insurance, maybe not even in her mom's name. It might have been a payout to the grandmother, so that when she left her husband, the husband wouldn't have no access to the money because it got paid out to the grandmother or another relative or something, where the husband would have never found out about it.
Well, this is what makes me think this is like a classic case of possibly a family annihilation happening.
Yeah.
And it's really rare for it to happen with a female, the mother doing it, but this is a case I would look at and be like, this was on the cusp of actually being a female.
Matricide.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mhm.
I mean,
But,
the financial troubles. Right.
Listen, there's a lot of people that when their life starts spiraling down, they look for things like, you look at the Bertie Madoff case, the guy who had all those investments for all those really wealthy people, and it was all a Potemkin house. It was a house of cards, and he was robbing Peter to pay Paul, and he never really had the money, except he had all the extravagant riches. And he started, when he started to find out that he couldn't hide it anymore, that's when the even more riskier behavior started to happen.
Usually when the cards start to crumble.
Exactly. And so she was probably juggling all this, and it was a way of her to really feed her narcissism, her ego, to combat all the bullshit that she was dealing with in her every life, and diminishing her child, and just destroy her life was being destroyed. Now she was going to destroy her once hopeful daughter's life, who was going to have a great life. And
you got to think, it's like frozen. Too. I mean, what did she really have? She doesn't have a job, and
she had her daughter.
She had her daughter. She's obsessed with her daughter. She's obsessed with her daughter's boyfriend, who's now rejecting her because finally she gets the daughter and the boyfriend to break up with each other, and then she's still following him around. She's still going to the baseball games that he's at. He's rejecting her. And it was funny because right after they broke up and he starts rejecting her, that's when the messages start going to Lauren of kill yourself.
Yeah.
Look at the timing. Look at what's happening. Right.
And see, right there, I'm surprised she didn't get more of a sentence than what she did. Because, what if her daughter did kill herself? Because it has happened numerous times where kids were told and shamed online. They'd say, just by other kids saying to kill them.
I wish you guys had seen it just for the fact of they do have Kendra on for commentary and her reasoning for everything. You get to hear her reasoning. And I'm going to wait till they get on for this. But there's nothing.
Yeah.
I'm talking no accountability. Nothing.
Well, isn't that the perfect trait of a narcissist? I mean, narcissistic people will never take responsibility for the things that they do. They blame everybody else. It's everybody else's fault. They gaslight you. They attack you. They're abusive. They never want to look in the mirror. They can't handle aging. They can't handle kids leaving. They can't handle these things. And so they lash out at whoever's there.
Who's on right now?
Drugs, whatever.
Oh, wait. Somebody else is on. Hold on.
And they don't want their kids to be better than them. They don't.
No, never. The children can never be prettier than them, better than them, more athletic, more intelligent, anything. Is there a bug?
A bug?
You guys really? Is it Project Bluebeam?
Oh, yeah. He was looking up. What are you looking at?
Oh, no. I was looking at, the moon is crazy right now.
The moon is huge today. It's a super moon or something like that.
Yeah, I can see a little bit of it through the blinds. But yeah, we probably are bugged. Who knows?
Link.
Okay.
We know the prison's listening.
No, she said, "Is there a bug?"
Oh.
He's like MK Ultra.
Ultra bug. It's the second time I've heard that today.
I know. It's been an MK Ultra day.
Are you guys there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Anyway.
I can hear.
All right. Yeah. So, we were talking about. Okay. So, what were we talking about? The mother. I mean, yeah. Obviously, the
escalation of the narcissist, like when the house of cards were falling, and then that level of desperation when you. Right. I mean, that's what I have for Junior. Like when. Whenever, and you can share this with, Senior too, when you were at the point where your crimes were to the point where you knew you were
monitored and recorded.
That when you're at the house of cards are falling around you, did you get more desperate and lethal, or did you just kind of just give up?
I don't know how to necessarily answer that because I have appeals, but I'll say this. A lot of people think that the death penalty or certain crimes are deterrents to a criminal act. And usually when a criminal is an element of committing a crime, they're unaware of what penalties they face. As a 19-year-old kid, I didn't know the death penalty even existed. So how is that a deterrent to any crime for anybody if they're not even aware of punishment? And not only that, most people when they commit a crime, there's something, unless they're seeking to praise like the Toolbox Killers or Richard Ramirez or some of these other guys that purposely do stuff, a lot of other people commit crimes out of either drunken rage and under the influence rage, or they're just something's wrong with them and they snap. Something has been pushing them to that point. So I think if you're at that point, you're just not aware of things that you're doing, and you're not keeping track of, I'll go this far if this happens, I'll go that far if that happens. You're just full throttle because you don't know any better, because you are caught up in that cycle of that chaos, that trauma, whatever you're going through at the moment. So you're not paying attention to the levels of commitment of you're going through, what you're going through.
Interesting. How about you, Senior?
I wouldn't say that I escalated my crimes once I realized that they were closing in on me. But then again, I wouldn't say that I gave up either. I did have a feeling though that sooner or later they were going to arrest me. But it took them about 2 or 3 years, to do so. So I just let it happen. I knew my time was coming, and I just let it happen.
Yeah. What do you think about this woman? Do you think she knew she was eventually going to get caught?
That's a good question. I have a problem with why she did it in the first place. Regardless whether it was her own daughter or not, I'm still struggling with what it was her motive for doing it in the first place.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, especially coming from a mother. You have those maternal instincts, and it seems so contrary to what you would do when you have a child, especially from again, a female. They don't have those. Men we're plagued with testosterone and all this rage, the inner rage that we have, that we just basically from being men. But women aren't programmed that way. They're not wired that way. So, but this is almost like a slow knife wound that she kept on twisting over and over again, just to kind of get that dopamine rush over her kid, and to hopefully destroy her kid's life to the point where she had no confidence that she would probably end up just like her, in and out of jobs, couldn't keep a job and wouldn't be able to keep a guy. And so she was just trying to sabotage all that stuff, which I find is sickening that you would do that to your flesh and blood.
Mm-hmm. I think we're all.
It's interesting you say that.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Hold on, Junior.
What do you say, Junior?
Explain to me. Can somebody explain to me exactly how she was caught?
The FBI tracked her.
Yeah, what they did was they tracked her through her what was it, the
She had multiple phones, but the FBI.
Yeah, I know, but the IP address.
The IP address, yes.
They matched her with the IP address, but even because it was going back, because it always had to go back to a carrier. Mm-hmm. And so, like when you buy a phone, you have to unless you buy a burner, which doesn't have any name attached to it, which I'm shocked why she didn't do that, because she could have kept on doing it forever. But she had probably bought it like a regular phone with a prepaid card that you would have to upload minutes on, and then that way. But you still have to register your name and an email address. So, but you can change your IP by having a VPN, which is a thing that kind of bounces your signal across different carriers all over the world. But they can kind of break it and they can get it back to her. And so she probably just wasn't thinking that she could be tracked that way. And that's usually how criminals.
People are stupid. We've been hacked, and we've been able to trace exactly the location to the person that hacked us. We knew who it was.
Yep.
She just was ignorant and didn't realize that we could track the IP address to her job.
Exactly.
It did have multiple phones, though.
It's basically an electronic fingerprint.
Yeah.
It's basically an electronic fingerprint on fingers.
Yeah.
Real quick before we stop, you guys might cut us off at 8 o'clock. The motherly instinct. Before we got on the phone, I just called Laura, and she was putting her son to sleep, and I asked him, because she just got a dog, and I asked him how the doggy was doing, and I told him something about the female dog, how protective the female dogs are because of the motherly and protective instincts. And it's interesting that this mother abandoned those instincts. I teach a class, and in the class, around the time that I listened to this with Laura, I was teaching about shame and guilt. And one of the guys was like asking me, what is shame and what is guilt? And we're like, that's a feeling. It's a feeling of moral or conscious violation. And it's very interesting that this mother didn't have that conscience or moral violation to stop this stuff, and it kept on going and going. I want to point out something very, very interesting. When Laura traveled to California to be there for the closing of Death Row, she bought her son a few gifts, and one of them was a kitty cat and a Lego wind turbine set, which he loves. He's obsessed with wind turbines and fans and ceiling fans. And while Laura was here, the wind turbine, Lego wind turbine, accidentally got broken. And the funny thing is that Romeo said, "If the kitty did it," and as adults, we all know that the kitty didn't do it, or the kitty couldn't do it. But we just let it go. Laura let it go. It was like a joke. And every now and then, when I talked to Laura and she would tell me something, we would joke around like, "Oh, did the kitty do it?" And for the mom not to have a moral conscience to kick in 2 years, I want to point out how significant this is. Laura's son admitted to her that his kitty didn't break the wind turbine. And he admitted this within a year or a year and a half. For a child that's 6, 7 years old, to carry this guilt to this moral or conscious shaming that he felt like, I did something wrong, I got to admit to this. Why didn't the mother do this, and a little child can do this at 6 years old or 7 years old?
He's right.
Laura's son, brilliant, and has good moral.
Excuse me.
And that's what it boils down to. This mother had no morals and no conscience.
She's a narcissist. She's an empty vessel. She has to fill herself up with the outside world because she never filled herself up herself.
I have
Yeah.
a question. Did they talk anything about, because I know this has happened in past cases, postpartum depression? Because, some women really change. Because did she have more than one kid?
No, just one.
Because usually, sometimes what that happens is, and it's a long lasting thing. Some women have had very, very severe cases of postpartum depression, and it literally changed their whole brain chemistry to where, that can happen. And so
I don't doubt that it does, but I would say if you watched that last 30 minutes of the show and heard her reasoning behind it, I would honestly, Rob, I think if you watch it, you think the same. This is a narcissist,
yeah,
possibly sociopath. I mean, there's no recognition. There's nothing. It's an empty vessel, like Cindy was just saying.
Yeah.
There's nothing. She doesn't even take accountability. She doesn't say sorry.
Yeah, and for her to hug her daughter and hang on to her daughter, that was like the sickest thing. That when Laura was pointing out to me that was what was going on in the video,
Yeah.
all I can do was hear. I couldn't see that the mom was hugging and clinging her daughter when she was getting busted. I thought that was like the sickest, most depraved thing, to hug and cling on your daughter, and you just traumatize her sexually, physically. It was a physical abuse of this all. Was like the sickest thing. And
it's like stabbing somebody, then coming in as the doctor is pretty,
exactly
right. Yeah.
Let me fix it.
Call
Let me
and
fix
your
it.
telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Literally.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Wow.
I'm tripping on still that didn't resolve this stuff sooner was, they kept on suggesting that one of Owen's girlfriends was a bully, or the other girl on the basketball team,
Chloe,
who thought it was a cop, was doing this. And I thought to myself, I was listening to, from the very beginning, I was convinced it was a mom. But I was listening longer and longer, it convinced me even more. You want to know why? Because if girls are being bullied, it's usually someone in the school. And for her to be on the basketball team with a bully who's a cop's daughter, you would think that either something would be happening to her locker, she'd be getting pushed or kicked or tripped down in the hallway, or even bullied on the basketball court, like elbowed or knocked down. But none of this stuff was going on in school.
yeah, like girls just push each other, like, in high school. They're not texting 40 messages a day.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really like manic. I'm
Is manic.
40 texts in a day. That's just manic. That's not normal behavior.
Every day for 2 years, Cindy. Like, that's insane.
Yeah, I mean, we just had an incident where we had someone who was behaving like that, and we were just like, this person is nonstop manic. Like, and you can't seem to let it go. Like, all of a sudden turned into a stalker, like, in a second.
Exactly.
And I was like, whoa, I've seen this before. We got to get away from this person.
And then they started calling from different phone numbers.
Yeah, and sending messages and
through PayPal.
Yeah, very strange, bizarre
like
behavior.
Sending them money so they can put a note to the message because the person was just.
No, it's not. It's what kind of behavior? What is that, Laura? What kind of behavior is that?
That is manic, and it is common with stalkers. Yeah.
And stalkers, I mean, they come from a delusional, narcissistic place also, don't they?
Yeah, some of them, a type of them, yeah.
Yeah. They have a fantasy in their head on how they want things to be. And if it's not that way, they're going to try to do everything in their power to make it that way.
Correct. I mean, there's different types. Stalkers is a whole nother subject, but there's erotomanics, but there's a whole other type. But what you're talking about is manic behavior, which is very indicative of stalkers. Very indicative of what you're seeing with this show.
Do you think if she wasn't caught, how high do you think it would have escalated? Do you think she would have tried to get her daughter to
I honestly wonder if it could have gone to the point of, and I hate to
have 60 seconds remaining.
I hate to speculate all this, but I think it may have been a case of family annihilation because the mother had no job. The only source or fuel she's getting is from this daughter. She's telling the daughter to kill herself. She's in a state of depression because now this 13-year-old boy has rejected her, the mother, and there's no...
A 13-year-old boy. Do you hear what you're saying? I mean, that's just sick.
This is how sick it is. Yeah. This is why I'm saying I think this could have been a case. Had the FBI not gotten involved when they did, I think it could have been a case of family annihilation. What did she have to live for?
That's what it sounds like. It sounds like this narcissist just imploded and she just wanted to destroy her whole family.
What
did she have to live for? I mean, really, what did she have to live for?
The daughter went through a traumatic thing, not only being psychologically abused, but she lost her first love.
Exactly.
We lost him. That was his last final word.
He lost his final love.
That was good. He got it in now. He got it in.
But I mean, really, that's the final. And I mean, the only thing left for her was for this house of cards to tumble, for it to figure out that it was her. She hasn't had a job. This is the reason they've lost all these houses. Her world was imploding. I mean, this is a stereotypical case of family annihilation happening in action, if you look at it.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to look at what do they have to lose?
Right. Because
Nothing.
they don't have anything to lose.
Nothing.
But they do. They have everything to lose, but in their mind, they're probably fantasizing about a new life.
Well, right.
Like the Susan Smith thing. Where she,
That's true too.
The woman who basically drove her car into a pond just to kill her kids because she wanted to leave her husband and wanted to start a new life with a new guy.
Well, that can happen too. She murders Sean, Lauren, but
and she's trying to get out now, which is ridiculous.
It was a dangerous situation, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, who is texting their daughter, kill yourself, on a daily basis? This is a suicidal. And what thing is, like, just like Wayne Adam Ford said, if you're already at the suicidal point, you're at the homicidal point, like he always says. So to tell your daughter to kill yourself, you're already at homicide.
Mm-hmm. She's probably going to kill her.
Yeah, you're there. You're already there.
That poor girl. That's just it's just heartbreaking. That poor child had to deal with that. That's disgusting.
What that poor girl, like, God, I hope she's getting therapy. I just hope,
I don't even know how you recover from something like that.
I don't either. Narcissistic mothers and their abuse is a lifelong journey for survivors of that. And it's not easy. And
it's way more powerful than a narcissistic father.
Way more.
Way more.
Mothers are more like, women in general are more detail oriented too. Is like, I feel like a mother has more time to be like in that manic state to stalk and like to look at her, especially when you have a daughter, to look at her and be like, you have a flat ass, you have this, you have that.
Mm-hmm. And just to pick. Yeah, pick. Uh-huh.
Her body and pick at her, everything about her, like where a father wouldn't do that.
Mm.
It was like you look at a
well, the father would. I mean, there's cases of
some
that
fathers
too.
do. I'm just saying it's more powerful coming from the mother.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think it's powerful coming from both. Either parent saying that to their kid is terrible.
But especially when it's like that's your mother who's also.
Well, let's just put it this way: how many? What is the weight and the balance of how many serial killers had mother issues versus father issues?
Well, that's true.
There you go. All of them.
Yeah,
every single one of them. No, I agree. I mean, it is detrimental, but those were also men having those relationships with their mother. Oh, we lost everybody. Okay.
We lost Laura.
We lost the round table.
Well, hopefully she hit a button. She'll come back on. But here she comes.
There she is.
There she is.
I hit the.
I know.
I know. He said
who's trying to call you now? I thought their phone's locked out.
I thought it was 2, but it's only 8:00. They don't lose the phone until 9.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I don't know.
It's 8:00 here. Yeah.
5 minutes. Yeah. Anyway, no, but you're right. I mean, the mother. I mean, there's no more primal instinct than the mother and a child. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
I mean, not to say a father's not important. I'm just saying when it like that, those spears get thrown at from a mother to a child.
Mm-hmm.
They're that much more deeper.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because they're supposed to be the safe, comforting, and nurturing. The father's supposed to be the protector, but also the disciplinary.
Right.
And the one who's kind of sets the rules.
Mm-hmm.
That's the traditional way. That's the way it's been for centuries. I mean, now it's gone in some places a little haywire. And I think that's probably why things are a little haywire now.
I just think this is the craziest case I've ever heard of. I mean,
It's one of the craziest I've ever seen. I feel like it's so many different layers too, because it's not just like the narcissistic mother. It's like there is a stalker element to it. There is a Munchausen element to it.
what triggers someone to start stalking someone? That just always bothers me. I mean, it's
narcissism.
Narcissism is one of the reasons. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that can be triggered by a manic episode is when.
Yeah. And like, I think maybe if she was a man, that could have escalated into violence, physical violence a little quicker, but because she's a woman, because of a woman, women are this is how they perform violence.
Yeah.
It's mental torture.
One of them who's on with us.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was like, one of them is on with us.
We don't know. Is that you?
Junior.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I'm just kind of in disbelief about everything about it.
Yeah. Well, why don't we jettison from that? Let's talk a little bit about, because you sent us some really exciting pictures this week, Laura, about different book covers.
Yes.
And I know you were sharing those with some of the people at Vacaville that you talked to inside prison, and getting their impression on it. But Laura's book is coming out soon, and she sent us like some of the artwork for the new covers, and we've been on this journey with her, watching her doing all this, and we couldn't be happier or more proud of all the work you're doing, and to actually see those covers, it was very exciting. It's very because we've been hearing about this book forever, and then obviously we're doing everything in our part to help get that going, and now you have a cover.
It's amazing.
It is, yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that, and tell the audience a little bit about that and what you decided. I know you posted some images online.
Yeah, so we posted the book cover. They sent me 3 images, but we decided on that one. And it's been a while in the making. It's been a crazy.
What's the official title now? Tell everybody the official title.
Oh, God's Not Here, Only Devils.
The Toolbox Killers.
By the way, I went into my son's school and I talked to his teacher and I was like, oh, I just read a book. And she's like, what's the title? It was
I'm sure that was went over like a lead balloon.
I was like,
oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. Oh, congratulations.
Do they have a release date yet or not yet?
Spring 2026. So
that's awesome.
It should be probably April is what they were saying.
Cool.
So we're still going through the edits, and they just sent me the latest edits, but the guy wrote me back and said, this is so fascinating. By the way, I have like 0 edits to do. So he sent me a list back. He's like, just have a couple of questions. So they really don't have to do any edits, which is amazing.
That's amazing.
That is amazing.
That's wonderful.
That's all the hard work you've been doing.
Yeah, that's great, Laura. We're so happy for you.
Thank you. And I'm about halfway through book 2.
Nice.
Exclusive. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
but that's
actually makes an appearance in book 2.
Oh.
Who does?
Junior.
Oh, wow.
Junior. Kidding. Look at you.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome.
I met Laura when she started this journey
when I was pregnant.
And when I saw her on the dock, I was proud of her and I was happy for her. But when I saw the way they portrayed her, it really broke my heart for Laura, because I felt she deserved so much more than what she got, because they didn't let her show her true intellect and true knowledge of the case. And I was very upset about this, and I felt bad for her.
Well, listen, we got to wrap this up anyway. And but Laura, congratulations on your cover. I'm glad I like the one that you chose.
Oh, thank you. Junior, stay on, because I want you to tell them something after we cut off on tape.
Okay. All right, cool. Well, then we'll talk to you next week.
Good night, everybody.
All right, Junior, stay on. We're just going to stop recording.